Okay. So today again is August 16th on a Wednesday, 2023, and we have with us Andrew von Lossow. And Andrew had a pretty good year in 2022. He was named the first time ever this has happened, was selected the Men's Player of the Year and the Men's Mid-Amateur Player of the Year by Washington Golf in the same year. Very good year for Andrew. Many other things going on as well. But Andrew, thanks so much for being on with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, all right. Um, so let's just start with the very beginning. And did you grow up in Seattle?
I did, yeah, Northeast Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah, right by Sandpoint Country Club, kind of across the street from there.
Oh
And
yeah.
my dad
Okay.
had a golf club shop, Vaughn's Golf and Putter Studio is named, for
Uh-huh.
almost 30 years. So he was the main guy in Seattle for club repair, club fitting,
Yeah.
and he's also had a great career playing as well. So
Yeah.
I've grown up in golf.
Well, so just a little, since you mentioned that already, a little side note. It must have been probably 35, 40 years ago. I needed a repair on my driver, and someone referred me to John von Lossow, your dad, and sure enough, I went to. It must have been a studio in his house or
Yeah,
something.
we had the
Was it?
shop, and then that's Uncle John Vaughn, so my dad's gym. Yeah, so
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he's had run the shop out of had
there you go.
converted the basement
Yep.
into a club shop with loft and lie, the
Yeah.
vices, the drill press, so everything you need to
Yeah.
work on clubs. And then he had a shop near University Village for a number of years as well.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, you got a little reshaft and probably
Yeah.
got on your way.
Yeah, I did. I went down there. I think I was walking through his backyard or something to the back door to enter the shop area or something like that, if I remember right.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
had a putting green back there, hitting net.
Yep.
It was a little later, but in
Yeah.
2005, he was the first guy in Washington to have TrackMan. So
Okay.
that was cool that's kind of the new age of club fitting. But yeah, that was first guy to have TrackMan and kind of
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
So
pretty cool.
so I can clarify this. So that was Jim von Lossow
Exactly. Yeah.
and your uncle?
That's John. He's played in USGA
Okay.
events. He lives in
Yeah.
Arizona now.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So
All right.
yeah, he's a great player too.
Okay. So Nathan Hale High School, played golf there?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Graduated 06.
Yeah.
That was
And
fun.
then went to Southwest Oregon Community College?
Right. So I played high school golf and I was a solid player. I got in Metro League. We'd play all the public courses in Seattle and Jackson, Jefferson, West Seattle. And then,
Yeah.
I came in like second place in Metro one time. That was that's a top tier moment for me playing developmentally playing in high school. And
Yeah.
then I wasn't sure about playing college golf. I always wanted to, but I realized that you need to really recruit yourself. And I didn't really do that. I thought I didn't play well enough to have the coaches ask about you. So looking back, it's more about recruiting yourself. So that'd be my advice for younger players.
Yeah.
But so I went to Shoreline Community College after that and did
Okay.
video editing. So I got a certificate doing video editing and video production. Now I really like doing that kind of stuff. And then I'm like, well, I still want to play college golf. So had a contact at Southwestern Oregon. And then mainly what drew me there was making the home course Bandon Dunes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was our home course I joined in a little late in the season. I joined in January. So Bandon Dunes Golf Resort, we got to make that the home course so we could play anywhere. Mainly we play Pacific Dunes and Bandon Trails because Bandon Dunes, that course was obviously very busy at the time too. And now it's now it's a world destination.
Yeah. So I know the director of communications there at the resort. His name is Michael Chupka.
Yeah.
And was he the coach at the college?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, because he had mentioned you. He said, yeah, Andrew came down here specifically because he wanted to. He found out that the Bandon Dunes was the home course. That's a pretty good reason to go.
Right.
Yeah. How many years did you play there?
It was actually just 1 year. It was a short and sweet trip. It was only 6 months, but in that 6 months, I could probably only a handful of times I actually didn't go to the resort. So logged a bunch of miles in the car. And one of my friends, Joe Rafson, one of the teammates, he had the same theory that I did, that we were at Bandon Dunes and we were going to take advantage of that. So if we didn't play one of the courses, we were at least at the driving range or going to the par 3 to play a couple holes or
Yeah.
That's when the Punch Bowl wasn't there and Old McDonald was just in development. So still at that time, plenty of room there. So we would play, go to the putting green, and Chupka had a few putting drills for us. So we'd kind of keep up with those and anything to just hang out Bandon and get near the ocean air like that, in a links facility.
Yeah, exactly. So at the time, was Chupka, was he the coach there at high school or at the college?
Yeah, he was. So it was Marie Simons beforehand, and she was kind of transitioning out, and then Chupka was the assistant, but then he was coming in as he was the head coach for us. Okay. And at the time, he was the assistant pro turning into head pro at Pacific Dunes.
At Pacific, that's right.
So he was like on his off days, he's traveling with us to tournaments, and then being where we were at in Coos Bay, we're driving no less than 5 hours per tournament. Yeah. So mainly, if you go up to Walla Walla, you're doing 9-10 hour trips. So he was going full speed.
Yeah. You played pretty well though. Was that the year that you won the NACC title, community college title?
It was
2009. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That year. Yeah. Won the conference championship at Veterans Memorial in Walla Walla. And that year I played well. I contended in a lot of events. It's kind of one of those things where I was building up the whole year. Like I came in second a number of times, or I came in third, or I had a chance to win a tournament, but I 3-putted the last green and had a playoff 3-putted in that. So kind of one of those things where kind of get those incremental victories, but it still stings in the moment. Yeah. And then in that championship round, I do remember I shot 66, 68, which is, it's still good right now. That for me at that time was scores I wasn't shooting too frequently. Yeah. And first round was like a bogey-free 66, and then the last round I was 1 over through 14 holes, and then 13 holes. Then played the last 5 holes 5 under to close the tournament and win by 3 or 4. So that was a moment that really gained some confidence for me in showing, hey, you can play some tournament golf at times, at least being in that situation.
Yeah. So after Southwestern Oregon Community College, did you go to another school after that, I think?
Yeah. So it turned out I've always struggled in math, and my friends know with the math, doing numbers and stuff isn't my strength. So math class was an issue for me in college. So what happened from there is I got offered to walk on at Washington State or Idaho. And I'm like, well, geez, if I'm not guaranteed a spot, I don't want to just go there and struggle and everything like that. So it worked out where I went to Eastern Washington University. My aunt worked there at the time and had a few contacts there. So went to Eastern, and I did graphic design, visual communication design. I still played a lot with like the club team. I was the director of that, and still practiced all the time, stayed competitive. And I thought, well, I'm still going to play golf and still keep going, but it's just not going to be on a college team at this time.
Yeah. Okay.
So I thought, focus on the college degree and go that route.
Yeah. Okay. So is that how you kind of ended up in the eastern part of the state, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then from there, I played with my friend Eric Benjamin years ago. We played Dakota's Tour in 2010. So that was like a month and a half. Played some more tournament golf that way. And then from that, I got a connection through him from Benji to meet one of my friends at Discovery Land Company to caddy at Yellowstone Club. So
over in Montana.
Right. So that's what kind of started with caddying, and then that kind of doing that and going to Eastern as the summer job. Go from Eastern Washington, Montana, for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But you say you came back to Spokane and kind of put some roots down there, sounds like?
Right. And that happened years ago. So it's kind of a bit of a story from Eastern. So I'd caddy at Yellowstone Club. Then I was doing graphic design, and I met an owner of a company who's down in Nashville. And from there, so I was caddying, playing a lot of golf in the summer. You'd caddy so much or you need to be available, that tournament golf is kind of going out the window. And I'm like, well, this stinks. I want to play tournaments, but you got to keep things going along here, keep plugging away. Yeah. So but I met an owner of a company. He's like, well, this is a little different than, graphic design, but I have a video production company, corporate audio video production company in Nashville. And then I knew a few members of the club at Yellowstone who are also from Nashville. So I'm like, well, that's a good, I was like 22 or let's see, 24, 25 at the time. Like, that's a good experience. Moved south. So I ended up taking a job. So I lived in Nashville for a couple of years.
Huh,
doing
okay.
audio video production at this company named Ovation, and then I was a member at Golf Club of Tennessee for a year, and found out how expensive it is for being a member at a club. So, and I was there for a couple years. Then 2014, 15, the club or the company I worked for was starting to get a little smaller. Nonetheless, I got cut from that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I love Nashville and the Mid South and just playing golf. I have a lot of great friends there still. And I'm like, it's time to get back closer to home in the Northwest. And then, so from there, I caddied at, like Hideaway and Madison Club with Discovery, got back into that through
Mhm.
Yellowstone,
Yeah.
and then did the desert thing Northwest to down south for a couple years. And then from 2017, my parents moved to Spokane, where my aunt, cousin, uncle live for years, and we'd always visit. And from there, like, let's call this the home base to hang out
Mhm.
near the parents and be on the east side of the state, still in the Northwest. So
Yeah.
it all kind of worked out that way.
So when did you get back into tournament golf? I get, yeah. When did you get into tournament golf?
Yeah, so as I played a couple, I'd play a few like Tennessee Opens and stuff when I was in Nashville, but I was really focusing a lot on work, being at the workplace.
Yeah.
So during that time, I'm thinking like, what can I do to develop my own business where I can have the flexibility to play tournaments and still make money and keep things going.
Yeah.
So I started in Spokane. I moved full time to here. It's like 2018. I started playing local events, and then I was caddying at Gazer at the time for the Gretzky family.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, this is great and all, but I'm still trying. I don't like caddying's cool. I mean, I'm pretty solid caddy,
Yeah.
but I like playing golf. I don't like watching people play golf all the time.
Sure. Yeah.
So started with local events, and then then the year after, it kind of formulated where I like, hey, I can start planning for some Washington golf events and USGA qualifiers. So
Mhm.
that 2018 and then 2019, just kind of a steady building, for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like to make all that come into fruition is like years of kind of figure out how to make it work, because it does
Yeah.
take a lot of time to play events and planning and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, sure. And create a sort of a working professional life to be able to give you this flexibility to work that into your schedule. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you start the Glencoe Trading Company, or how did
I
that?
did. Yeah, I
What is that
did. Yeah.
about?
Right. So that's my company name. So I do graphic design, apparel, getting logos pretty much on anything. So Glen Cove stems from our family cabin in Port Townsend. That's been on our family since the 30s on the Olympic Peninsula.
Hmm.
So I thought, hey, and I thought always one day that there's a tugboat and a paper mill there. And I'm like, yeah, tugboat's always cool. I like seeing the boats out there. So from there, I'm like, hey, trading company, I can cover a lot of ground from, if I need to get any golf stuff with shafts, or with my dad's history with running the club shop, you got to make sure you can get golf equipment, and then graphic design wise,
Yeah.
get the right equipment for, I have a vinyl cutter and some heat press machines. That's how I do most of my work.
Yeah.
Um, and then the design side of things also. So making logos, like I've made Washington Golf logos and
Hmm.
Oregon Golf logos, tournament logos and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
kind of, I thought using the trading company, the Glen Cove Trading Company, it's kind of an umbrella statement. It can cover a lot of ground.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Hickory golf. And your dad is very into Hickory golf, yes?
Correct. Yeah.
And how did you, for you, I mean, you've done well. You won the 2021 U.S. Hickory Open, but I think you also, isn't there like a Spokane Hickory Open that you won or something
Yeah.
like that?
Right. It started, the Spokane Hickory Open. It started with my dad and his friends. My dad's playing for so long, and he was like, I want to. There's got to be some other type of golf. And through the friends he had, they got into the history of Hickory golf, and like, well, we can actually play these things.
Yeah.
So the first, it's called a Northwest Hickory Players. That's a specific Hickory group. So if you reach out to them, you can play events, and they have clubs for rentals, and you
Hmm.
can learn about. There's just a lot of cool history within Northwest as well, with all how the
Yeah.
games developed there over the years.
Yeah.
But it started kind of the Northwest for this group, kind of like January 1st, 2013. And that's where I played Chambers Bay for the first time. We did an outing. There's like 16 of us, and we got to play Hickory golf at Chambers, and it was cool because it was a kind of a foggy, dreary day. It's like this is kind of, it was quiet and everything. It's like this is kind of like an old Scottish day here.
Yeah.
So that my dad played for a while, then I'd play, a few times a year, and I think it's great for hitting different shots. You look at the course differently. You're playing with so much less spin on the ball, so
Hmm.
you think about golf a lot differently, as well as far as thinking your way around the course. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you have to change your swing at all when you're playing with hickory clubs, or how do you go about that?
it's not you're not changing your swing as much. I'd say the thing you do change the most is tempo. You realize I need to be in balance, and
Yeah.
I can't get to the top of my swing here and try to gun it. You gotta
Yeah.
like stay within yourself. You gotta start using all the cliches.
Yeah.
And ironically, I'm not hitting the ball that great right now, so maybe I need to go play hickory a few rounds and just remind
Yeah.
myself of some
There you go.
some,
So
some fundamentals.
does it translate well to playing regular clubs from that standpoint, besides tempo?
I'd say it helps with course management and looking at courses, looking at shots, and then thinking about your
Yeah.
variety of shots
Yeah.
around the greens or iron shots coming into the green. Um, it's with like when you're playing a court, like the older style courses, you can normally run shots up. So you're looking at around the greens. Hey, should I favor the right side, or can I play it off a bank on the left side? Because
Yeah.
you're not going to really fly it to the hole as much and spin it. Occasionally you can do that, but it's not as common as you think.
Yeah. So after the 2021 U.S. Hickory Open, did you play in the 2022 event? As a defending champion, or
I
did you go out
wish
and
I
about?
could have. Yeah, I played. So it was great. The 2021 event was at Gearhart, and
Hmm.
Jason, they're the head pro, then Forrest, the superintendent. The greens were rolling like 12 to 13, and
Hmm.
with Hickory, you're playing modern golf balls for the most part, maybe a little softer compression, but playing like Hickory, the Hickory sticks on Gearhart, it's like that's just a lot to handle with the greens that fast. So it was a great
Yeah.
challenge. And
Yeah.
then the 2022 tournament was over in New York, kind of near Long Island, and I can't remember the club, but it was a really nice club. It
Hmm.
was another great venue, but just that's a big trip in June,
Yeah.
July from Northwest to East Coast
Yeah.
to, to go
Yeah.
tee it up in the
Yeah.
Hickory event. But
Okay.
would have been,
So 2022 though was a pretty good year you on the golf course. Uh, and I mean, what you played in the Oregon Open, tied for third, was low amateur at the Oregon Open that year. Um, what else did you? Let's we got. Also in 2022, you were named the PNGA Men's Mid Amateur Player of the Year,
mhm.
the whole Pacific Northwest. Everything sort of come together that year, or just had a chance to play more golf, or what was the difference in your game?
Yeah, it was a combination playing the right events, like making a schedule to play enough events. During the winter, worked out with my buddy Gordon Corder. He's the Manitou Country Club head pro. He's one of my best pals, and I have another number of other good buddies. We instituted since COVID 5:30 a.m. workouts, and just that pushing yourself every day. At least we get in there most days a week or at the time. And then this last year took a little time off, but now we're back to it. So a
Yeah.
combination of working out and then, business wise, I was still really busy, but kind of putting a few things once in a while too much in the back burner, but playing a lot of golf, but really went
Mhm.
in for it and was like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for it this year for playing the right tournaments, and then
Mhm.
got some good momentum, hitting the ball well, and getting around town, still have enough time to practice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just a good combination.
Yeah.
But it was an awesome year to.
Yeah.
But I'd say the anchor was getting in the morning workout routine, and then that just kind of set my foundation for the day and go
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah. You were the qualifying medalist to get into last year's U.S. Amateur as well, and then you had a pretty good run at the Amateur itself. That was fun to see.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
That was a great the first that day to qualify at the home course. I shot 2 under the first round, and I'm leading after the first round's like 5 under or so, and I'm like, come on, you got it in there. And my friend Devin's caddying for me, and I the second round of that 36 hole day, I was a couple under going into 15, or I guess that was like my sixth or seventh hole of the day. But then I strung together 5 birdies in a row, made a couple
Mhm.
more coming in, so went 70, 65, and I was 9 under to be tied medalist.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, at the amateur, got to play Arcola and Ridgewood. for
Yeah.
the tournament. And
Yeah.
that was it's always a goal to make it to a USGA event.
Yeah.
And earlier in the year, I played at Country Club Birmingham in the USGA 4-ball. And that was a good introduction to seeing some USGA courses,
Yeah.
championship venue, and kind
Yeah.
of the feel. And then to make it to the big show of the USAM
Yeah. Yeah.
was just awesome.
Yeah. Just in general, a lot of people don't know this, but the U.S. Amateur is one of the most difficult championships to get into because there's so many people want to get into it. Typically, like at the qualifying site there at the home course, I don't know how many guys were there. There are probably 80 guys. They're only playing for 2 or 3 spots. And that's normal around the country. They have all these qualifying spots everywhere. So it's really hard just to get in there. And then to get there, you have to play another 36-hole qualifier, basically, to knock it down from 312 players down to the 64 players. So
right. Yeah, you go from 8,000 and then you go to like your spot where it's 100 players or 80 players for 2 to 3 spots. And then you're another tournament 312 down to 64.
Yeah.
So I got into the match. I think I was 3 or 4 over for the 36 holes. Arcola, I finished 1 or 2 over, and the greens there rolling 14s. I couldn't 13, 14. Ridgewood, same thing. I'm like, geez, this is a little quicker than the greens I'm used to playing. And, and then the roughs up and their long courses, just the true premium. I'm hitting the fairway for your next shot, getting in the right position.
Yeah.
But I got in. So I got in on the number. I do remember I missed a 2.5-foot slider at Ridgewood, and I thought, oh man, that's it. That's there it goes. I didn't qualify. And what my buddy Devin, he was caddying for me. He's a good numbers guy, but he was kind of fibbing the cut line to me. So really, I had a shot cushion, and he knows I wasn't looking on my phone, or I'm like I said, the whole numbers thing. It worked out in the end for that. I thought I missed this putt to miss the whole thing, and he's like, "Oh, you're actually okay. That's going to be for a playoff tomorrow." I'm like, "Well, I didn't want to miss that still, but at least I had another chance." Nice. So it was 15 players, the 7:30 tee time on the 15th hole at Ridgewood to determine this playoff, and it was 15 players
for how many spots?
I think it was 4 spots or something, or
wow,
3. I think it was 4 spots. Like 15 for 4, and it was so odd because when I was in the last group and knocked it on the green, it was played the hole that I was playing the evening the day before, and it was playing a club shorter, so I hit wedge in the afternoon. But we knew with the morning dew and everything, it was just that 148 yardage is playing 55 to 58. Yeah. So it took a little flighted 9-iron, flagged it middle of the green about 20 feet. And as soon as I hit the shot, even it's that 9-iron, I knew it was going to be. I knew it wasn't going to be extremely close, but I know in that situation, playoffs, and you want to get it on the green, just make sure you're making par. Because a lot of guys were coming up short, which was pretty surprising, just not knowing that, hey, it's the morning dew sweeping. The ball doesn't go as far. Yeah. So and it was pretty odd in that playoff. I was ready to play. You hear about playoff stories where they go for a couple hours, and this one turned out where it was done in 1 hole. So there's enough bogeys and everything else where it was a crazy mathematical deal where 15 for 4, it was done after 1 hole.
Yeah, typically that many players, you are going to go 3 or 4 holes at least. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I was ready to I'm like, hey, I'll just keep playing till we don't have to play anymore. But I'm here. I want to extend this trip out to New Jersey. I'm making this thing. I'm here.
Nice. Okay. Then the first round of 64, you knocked off the number 3 player in the world, Thorbjornsen. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was an exciting match. And in fact, I think it was we were following online, but I think even the USGA was a little surprised by it.
Yeah, they did. They were surprised.
Like, who is this guy?
Right. Yeah, because that was their poster boy. I mean, I saw early in the week he had his own USGA special, and they were asking him what it would mean for him to win the Junior Am and then the US Am. Yeah. And then I heard about that when I got paired up against him. I'm like, oh, this guy, he is the talk of the town, and he's kind of local guy from New Jersey or from Boston. But that was a special day with playing that match, and get the good anticipation and get a good crowd. And my friend Devin, he had to leave. He had to go back to work at Boeing. But I had another guy caddying for me, my friend Brian. And so Brian Roth was he's a Ridgewood caddy and lives in New Jersey, real estate, and then caddies at Ridgewood. I met him in the qualifying rounds. He caddied for another player in my group. So, but I got along with him pretty well. And then turned out we're like, well, Devin has to go. Like, what do we do? I'm in the the match play now. It's like we're still going. So got a hold of him through the pro shop, and then he's one of the main guys at Ridgewood. So despite me being from the Northwest and like they're like where's Spokane and stuff like that, I was like a fan favorite on site because I was the oldest guy in match play, being 34 at the time. Had a local legend guy in the bag, so it's like it just had the makings of a special day. Like there's more electricity in the air.
Yeah. It was fun to read about and fun to watch the highlights and stuff. You were wearing your colorful shirts there as well. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And you were at 34. You were definitely the older guy there, and you were playing against a bunch of college kids. Really, is what it is, and the U.S. Amateur anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Like you're seeing guys from international players with their staff bags and their coach or their dad like right behind them, examining every shot on the driving range. And then I'm up there, got just my buddy Devin or Brian and my friend Jordan came across country to watch for that match. And I just got my small team around me, and I'm just hammering 4 irons in the range, and it sounds like a rocket ship taking off, and the college kids are looking over like, what's this old guy doing just pounding it out there? So I think I surprised Thorbjornsen because I was keeping up with him or hitting it by him, and then just playing rock solid match play golf. So he was probably like, what's going on here? Like his caddy was telling us walking down the first fairway how they had PGA Tour starts coming up, and they were going to play college another year, then go pro. And I'm kind of thinking, like, listen to that walking down the fairway. I'm like, looks like I'm getting looked past right now. Kind of added a little fuel in the fire.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that was a fun match to watch. And then even the round of 32, you took it to the final hole.
Yeah, Ben Carr, and he was a really nice guy. And then his caddy, Will Wilcox, who's caddying right now on PGA Tour for Sung JM. That was a really good match. Ben's a really nice guy, and just a great player. We both play pretty fast, so we were waiting a lot, and as far as pace of play goes. But that one, like, I was just pretty amped up, knowing match play. Like if you hit a good drive or hit the fairway, it's a great advantage to just have the next iron shot in, and a few times just hitting some squirrely drives and getting a little quick at the top. So I was down 3 at one point in the match, but then I squared it up by 9 or 10, and then got down 2 in the match, squared it up by 16. And then 17, we both hit amazing drives, tough driving hole at Ridgewood. It's a dogleg left. If you're hitting a cut shot, you take it up over this tree about 250 or 260, but you hit high cut over that. And then that leaves you like 240 into the green, which is still going uphill a little bit. Yeah. And then Ben hit a great hybrid shot to probably like 20 feet or so. And then I had 240 right after him and hit a 7-wood, flagged it as well. And landed really soft. I feel like if it got one more bounce, I would have been 8 feet, but I was like 15 feet. He was 20 feet. We both hit, like, they were both primetime golf shots. And then we both, my putt didn't get as close as I'd like. It wasn't a gimme by any means, but we both made 4. But I thought that point of the match, making a 3 there, that's like a momentum shifter. I could get up 1 going into 18. But we ended up having, but I still had the tee on 18. And then I got into a few drives earlier that week on 18 and just hitting the high cut. And if I connected on one, I'd be 30 to 40 yards in front of mostly anyone who's playing that event that week because I could just cut it around the corner. And it just got ahead of it a little quick and blew it over in the other fairway, which was one of the holes that wasn't in play for the tournament because it's a composite course at Ridgewood. They have 3 9s. And then Ben hit drive down the fairway, and I was over in the rough way right of our hole. So that shot was, it's all square, deep rough. You got 100 people around you, and I've got like 140 overhanging trees, and I'm like, well, here we go. Here goes the tournament. And I kind of hooded a 9 iron, and that could jump because past the greens, the parking lot out of bounds area. I'm like, well, here goes nothing, and hooded a 9 iron and hit this low punch shot. It barely drew. It was right of the green and really thick rough where you couldn't even see it. and the pin was on the left where this ridge, just right below this ridge. But I knew if I could hit a little weak-handed dead hand shot out of there with a 56 degree, kind of pop it out and let it trundle on down there, it could be good. And I did just that, and I got it to the top of the ridge, and it rolled down to like 8 feet. And then Ben was pin high, but also right, so he got a good read on my chip shot going by kind of his ball. But it was still such a tough putt, and he putted his to like 4 feet. And I'm like, well, I'm going to make this. I mean, I always make these putts. The greens are great. I'm a good putter, 10 feet and in, and hit a good putt, but it lipped out in the low side. So Ben had like a 4-footer, 3-4-footer to make to win the match 1-up, and he did. So it's like, man, if I wanted to get in the playoff hole and just see what would happen there, but that's how it ended. But it's a good, got to keep going because
it was a good run.
Get that taste of playing golf at that level. It's really addicting.
Yeah, I'll bet. So that was last summer. So this summer, actually last summer you tied for third at the Washington State Amateur, men's amateur. Mm-hmm. This year you finished sixth at the amateur, men's amateur, down at Walla Walla in Wine Valley. Yeah. Yeah,
it's one of my favorite places to play.
Yeah.
Made a ton of birdies. I made like 20 birdies in 3 days, and then had also the most high scores in 3 days. So hitting the ball off the planet. So
that's right. That's right. I saw the scorecard. I saw all these birdies, and I saw all these squares on the scorecard, which means double or more.
Yeah, even up to quad. I mean, I think I hit for the cycle in every score from eagles to making a 9. So it was a very colorful card.
Yeah. What happened on the 9 that when you got that?
That one hit one way right on 12 at Wine Valley. Nate set it up for the back tee, which shared tee box with 15, and then wind was going left to right, and then I peeled one right. Wind got it. No, actually that was my second ball. So first time I went left.
Okay.
And then and I'm like, well, that's not good. That's in the stuff where you need a new pair of socks. And then the second ball, then I peeled that one. So I have the 2-way miss going this year for the most part.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, here we go. Tee shot number 3. And then the wind really picked up on us in the back 9. So then I'm hitting my whatever 6-7 shot from, the fairway back there. And then actually hit it pretty close, but 2-putted. I'm like, oh, there's a 9. There you go. Then birdie the next hole, 3-putted. The hole after, made an eagle on 15, or that was the second day, but God, it's like up and down, back and forth.
Okay. Also, you played, like I mentioned earlier, you played at the Pacific Coast Amateur up at Capilano Golf and Country Club in West Vancouver, British Columbia. Selected to play for that? How'd that come about?
That one came about. It was a little later notice. I believe Paul Mitchell was supposed to play as the defending PNGA men's amateur championship from 2022. And something happened where he couldn't play, and I got notified by Torin a couple of weeks just before the event, and that's an event I've always wanted to play in. Mm-hmm. And so it just worked out that way. I wasn't planning on playing at all. I'm like, well, that's Paul's territory. I mean, I don't know if he signed up for the Washington Mid-Am or something had to be going on schedule-wise because he was the guy for that job this year. But it was an honor to get selected, and I didn't play that great. I had a bad stretch coming down the final 4 holes, which is normally one of the things I like, finishing strong, but didn't do it that week. But what a great course in the club. Amazing host.
Had you been up there before for that?
I never have. I've heard about it for years. And on Monday I didn't play a practice round. I got in a little late and I was going to play later, but this huge rainstorm came in and it just dumped rain on Monday and then a little bit of Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it was unreal for how the course was because I didn't get one mud ball in 3 days after torrential downpours. So couldn't use that as an excuse, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But man, it was amazing course.
Yeah. So I just want to segue here. What is Lead Tape Chronicles? What is that?
That's my Instagram page. So I started it in July 2018, and I wanted an Instagram social media page where I could post about golf and things in my golf world, but I'm not going to make it about me and how much I'm playing or scores because no one really cares what you shoot overall. But if you keep the story going or relatable content with people in golf. So it's basically how I started it was I'm going to post a club every day that has lead tape on it. So, weighted tape, make it the right swing weight, make it feel the right way for your club, for your feel, how you're going to hit shots. And I thought this is kind of a cool way to show custom clubs that aren't quite brand new, or it's, every club like that has a story on how it's your own club and you're hitting great shots and you have great memories associated with those shots. And I'm like, I know what to do. I'll have, and I'm like, well, I don't have enough clubs myself to post every day. I have a few, but not to keep this going. So I open it up to people now send me photos from, and it's been out actually like all over the world. And then, a lot of comments and dialogue gets started by just conversation about golf clubs. And then that can lead to, I hit that shot at this course, and then people start talking about courses, and you know how golf just kind of starts gaining momentum in quite a story. So just today I reached 20,000 followers on there. So that's pretty good for me for my little old Instagram page.
That's pretty good.
A bunch of golf lovers out there.
Yeah. So your dad was a known tinkerer with golf clubs. Do you have some of that in you?
I do. Yeah, I carry the tradition on with trying out different grips once in a while. I'm pretty consistent on that now, but different wraps of tape underneath, customizing them, trying different shafts or different lofts on my driver. Like this week, I'm going to try to tweak my driver loft a little bit. And do I need to? It's arguable, but I'm going to give it a try. But yeah, over the years he's he's worked on clubs for so many people, and he's always kept up with the latest techniques, and it's cool with my dad. He can work on clubs from hickory. He can refinish and rebuild hickory clubs to a modern club. So he can work on clubs that span, since the beginning of the time from the game. So over 100 years, he can repair a golf club.
Does he still have a studio shop somewhere, or?
Yeah, in the house in Spokane, he built it his shop. So we've got a loft and lime machine there. He's got a drill press for I play Mira irons. So Mira irons normally have a little smaller threading on the hosel to get shafts in. So you have to take the drill press, bore them out a little bit, and then you can put the shafts in. So just stuff like that, little tweaks where put new grips on. And he's got for persimmon clubs and hickory, he's got this little device he created where he can whip clubs, do all the whipping and stuff like that. So it's really cool.
Good. So we're mid-August here. You have any other plans for the rest of the year for tournaments, or what you got going on?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I'll play Spokane City Championship at the end of the month. That's always a big one in Spokane. We play this year. It's Downriver, Indian Canyon, then Qualchan. So that's a big tournament here. Play that, and I'll play Gallatin Valley Open in Bozeman. That's in second weekend of September, and that's a cool one for me because that was the main event we'd always play when I was at Yellowstone Club for those 4 summers. It's like, hey, you play Cottonwood, and like, hey, we're getting ready for the Gallatin Valley Open. It's like our one tournament a year. So that's kind of a sentimental tournament, and it's fun going to Montana and playing in the Big Sky Country. And then I'm playing USGA 4-ball qualifier with my buddy Alex Simcox down in Boise on September 19th. So that kind of rounds out the tournament season.
How many 4-balls, US Amateur 4-balls, have you played in?
I've just played in the one at Country Club Birmingham. I played with my friend Sean Langham, and he played at Idaho for a few years, and he's back home in Australia now. So we played there. That was an amazing experience to play at Country Club Birmingham. And then from there, I've played probably 4 other qualifiers and been alternate a number of times, or knocked on the door to be an alternate. So it'd be cool if Alex and I've known Alex from the California desert, and he's been one of my good buddies for almost 10 years now. So it'd be cool if we can punch a ticket. And he's a mid-am as well. And it's good if you're a mid-am, you can go compete with the college kids and make a little noise,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, show them what's going on. Andrew von Lossow, thanks so much for taking some time today. And again, pretty good year, last few years really. And congrats on all that. And great to see you're still involved with all the back end stuff too. That's pretty cool. The club building and the Lead Tape Chronicles. That's pretty fun.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for having me on here. It's awesome.
All right, and we'll talk again soon. Andrew von Lossow from Spokane, Washington. Thanks again, Andrew.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Cool. All right. We'll see you.